Many times have we heard stories of the powers of chaos embracing those in times of need when no other god would answer their prayers. And in truth, it is Grandfather Nurgle who is more than willing to act upon these prayers, seeing either great potential or simply wishing to protect those who have been shunned in his loving embrace. Many champions have risen in Nurgle's name, each with varying degrees of strength, but perhaps the strongest champion to rise is not one man, but three. Three brothers known to the world as the Glottkin. Three brothers unseparated since birth, never asking of their adoptive grandfather's wishes, but simply listening, for he gave them the gift of life. Years ago, in the imperial province of Nordland, lived a loving couple, Ofelias Grott, a simple farmer, and Ephra Greenblood, a practitioner of the law of life. They lived simple lives, but they were happy. They had everything they needed after all, a loving partner and a roof over their heads. While it was not the most lavish of lives, it was a happy one. Sadly, for the Glott family, Nordland, like many other imperial provinces, are not safe from potential harm, where Nordland finds itself closer than the other provinces to the realm of Norska, and are subject to many raids from the savages to the frigid north. It is lucky for them that they have survived many Northmen raids, but one fateful day, Nordland was ravaged, and many took up arms to destroy the Northmen once and for all. Ofelias and Ephra too joined the effort to the north, but unlike their furious kin who wished to destroy the savages, the loving couple tried to influence them, to teach them about the ways of the Empire, and to hopefully make them more civilized. Under the cover of night, they abandoned the imperial armies and set off on their own. They would travel to the local tribes, and interestingly enough, they were allowed to live in peace. Ofelias would build a house and till the land, farming in such hostile soil, while Ephra would use her healing touch to act as a wise woman to the local tribes. The Northmen having great respect for any they thought that could communicate with the gods. With time, the couple lived peacefully with the tribes. Their new home was different, but with each other there is nothing they could not achieve. Soon enough, Ephra's belly would swell. She was pregnant, not only with one child, but with three. This was truly a blessing from the gods. Unfortunately for them, there were some who were jealous of this blessing, for a hag of the north could not birth such a treasure, and in her jealousy, she cut Ephra's finger, but with a simple rusted blade. The wound, while minor, would become infected, and Ephra, try as she might, could not heal herself. Day by day, the infection ran deeper and got stronger. She begged and pleaded to the gods, any god, not to save her, but to save her children, the product of her love with her husband, her three beautiful children who have yet to be born. Her pleas fell on deaf ears, for in the north, prayers are silent. One god was listening, however, Grandfather Nurgle. He felt the pain of a grieving mother. He, after all, has many children and loves them unconditionally. He sent a small demon to them, which burst a light on her belly. Within seconds, she was cured, and within a week, the loving couple welcomed three healthy children to the world, their sons. Otto, Ephrak and Gurek. The three babies, whilst healthy, all bore the mark of Nurgle. But that did not matter to Ofelias, or possibly he did not know what that meant. All that mattered to him was his sons were here with him. The three boys would grow to be tall and strong, the climate of the north affecting them that they no longer resembled Nordlanders but men of Norska, with each of them showing many talents. Ephrak, like his mother, showed great intelligence and delved into the local occult, becoming a very competent spellweaver. Otto and Gurek, on the other hand, took after their father. They were physically strong, often sparring with each other and other tribal youths. The family of five would continue their lives within the lands of the north. Otto would help his father tend to the crops and provide the local tribes with food, crafting a grand scythe of his own making. Ephrak and his mother would learn from the local laws together and spring life into an almost wasteland-esque land. Only Gurek would prove to be more rebellious of the three, being far more interested in chasing local women, and improving his own physical strength. While the family lived in the north and did in fact influence the various tribes to a degree, they could not quell the savage nature of the north. Raiding was a part of their culture and their survival. As can be expected, constant raids would lead to retribution, the same as the Glotts had taken part in so long ago. The same as many times before, an army of Nordlanders took up arms once again to bring war to the north. Ofelias and Ephra would have preferred to stay away from the fighting, but the triplets felt a sense of pride for the north. As far as they were concerned, they are true Northmen, and their land was being invaded, so they would be at the front lines with their fellow kinsmen. So too would the parents fight alongside their children to defend their new home. Otto would cleave through enemy lines with the very same scythe he would use to till the crops. Ephrak's talents possessing the winds of magic would be used to distort the bodies of the invaders. And Gurek, furious Gurek, would charge into his enemies, killing them with his bare hands. Despite the best efforts of the Northmen, they were no match for the fury of the Nordlanders and their black powder weapons, which would cut down even the most heavily armoured men with little trouble. Little by little, the Northmen died out as hailstorms of bullets and great cannonballs smashed into their lines. The Northmen were being pushed back, as they could do little more than fight until their eventual end. It was during this day that the triplets would forever seal their fate, as they saw their own parents cut down by the Nordlanders, their own kin. Rage fueled the triplets as they cried out for vengeance. Their parents were dead, and soon they would be too unless they acted fast. Nurgle himself had been watching his adopted grandchildren as he saw them in emotional pain. The blessing of life that the father of Rot gave them before their birth had finally awoken, and with fury, the triplets rushed into battle as they mutated before the very eyes of their allies and enemies. Otto's scythe would cut down his enemies even after he took shot after shot of bullets, as they would no longer penetrate his skin. Ephrak's spells would be increased tenfold as he made his enemies melt into puddles of rancid flesh. Gurek himself would be filled with a strength only seen by the beasts of burden to the north. The three brothers were powerful in their own right, but together they were as strong as an army. Together they broke the Imperial lines, and the Imperials were forced to flee before their might as the Northmen cheered. Over the years, the triplets grew in both fame and Nurgle's favour. Each year he would bless them again and again, for they were one of his favoured grandchildren, and since they no longer had parents, it was his duty to see them live. Gurek had grown to a gigantic size, and his strength mirrored it. It is said that he had little trouble ripping apart and then devouring the already fleeting dragons in the north. His body was built on rotting flesh and muscle, and yet he would not rot away. It would seem, as the days passed, he would grow more and more. Ephrak's spells became more and more destructive, and would not bring wonderful life into this world, but rather the blessing of Nurgle. It is said that he would want nothing more than revenge on the Empire for taking his parents from him. Lastly, Otto would embrace the gifts of Nurgle, becoming one of the gods' most devoted followers. None mattered more than the will of Grandfather Nurgle. Together, the three brothers would lead many followers of Nurgle to battle. The smaller of the two would ride atop the largest as they carved through any who would deny the greatness of Grandfather Nurgle. And when the warrior, known as the Ever-Chosen, called them, they took up arms in the name of their grandfather, so the world may know and feel his loving embrace, and that the brothers may finally take revenge upon the Empire. But that is a topic for another day. And with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our lore video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you all again really, really soon. Have a nice day.